Welcome to episode number 5 of Sharkmind. Today we're going to be talking about validating our leaks. Last week I was playing with this guy that I play pretty often with, and we were in a spot where this older guy, super tight, doesn't play many hands, limps under the gun and jams against a raise all in. That is crazy strong. Like, I literally think she has aces and kings. I don't even know if he's doing it with queens. For sure not with ace king. That's how tight his range is for this guy. And this player I'm talking about convinced himself to calling this all in with queen jack offsuit. That's losing so much money. And he convinced himself by saying that he thought that this guy was trying to steal the pot. And yeah, that's definitely not true. He's not an aggressive player. He's just a guy that just likes to hang out there, that just plays like one of the lowest amount of hands on the table. And what we're going with this is a huge lead this player has. He did a super loose call with me a long time ago when I check jammed the river all in on a paired board, and he had a pair of aces with a bad kicker. And I looked so strong, I had a full house. And he convinced himself to calling too because there was a flush draw on the board. He's like, oh, I thought maybe you had a flush draw. And I don't remember exactly the hand, but I knew, like, I was so surprised he called. I'm like, what are you calling with? I look so strong. I didn't think you were gonna call me. I never have a flush draw here by the way it was played. At least that's what I think. And it just seems this guy has a pattern. He just doesn't like to fold. The reason behind it, well, I don't know exactly the reason, but he doesn't like to fold, and I don't think he's ever going to fix this leak because he rationalizes all of these hands by saying with me, oh, I thought he wasn't a flush draw. I had a bad read on him. I'm this older guy. Oh, I thought he was trying to squeeze. It's not a thing about him that I just can't fold. I'm a calling station. I love calling for some reason. What's the reason? And then you dig into that. And then maybe you figure out the reason is, and then you work on that and you improve your game. Because this guy, he didn't play bad, but with those calls, like those spots are such punts that could bring a winning player into a losing one. That's how big of a deal this situation was, because he would lose 100 big blinds or more if he had more. Like, that takes time to recover from. So that's from poker side. And I want to talk about life as well, because everything that happens in poker tends to happen in real life as well. And it brings me back to this guy that I used to work with. And we were talking one day, and he was just saying how, he built this hate towards women because the last 4 relationships he had, by the way he was saying it, everything was fine. And then every time they just get dry and cold and they would want to break up. Like 4 in a row of these girlfriends he was with, everything would be great. And then out of the blue, they decided they don't want to be with him anymore. So he was just in his mindset like, yeah, something's wrong with these women. Like, these women have an issue. And guess what? He's probably going to have a 5th girlfriend, and it may happen to him too. Because he's not realizing, like, oh, maybe it has to do with me. Like, 4 times it's happened. And in similar situations, like, oh, maybe it's coming from me. Maybe I have to fix something. Maybe there's something that I wasn't aware of. Like, maybe, yeah, did it happen out of the blue, or did it give me signals and I wasn't paying attention to it? So they needed something from me, and I wasn't aware, and I wasn't giving it to them, and they just got exasperated and they were tired, so they just left. Maybe that. If he doesn't give himself the possibility to look inside and be like, oh, maybe the issue is me, he's never going to fix it. And it's just a loop of over and over again of the player of just going all in over and over again when he's way behind and never being able to be a winning player. And this ex-coworker of mine, just not being able to be in a healthy relationship, any good relationship, because he wasn't able to be aware with himself of what was causing these problems in all of his relationships. I don't know what it was because we didn't go in detail about it. But yeah, so it's a big part of being very vulnerable with yourself, because these things are hard, you know. Like, I feel people just have a tendency like, oh, you know, I want to be right. It happened a few weeks ago with myself that I caught myself. I didn't realize I was in a small blind, and I raised. We were just playing 5-handed, I think, and the guy was like, "Oh, you don't want to chop?" And my reaction was like, "Oh, we're just 5-handed. Let's just play blinds too. You know, it's 1-1." And he folded, and then after I thought about it, I'm like, "Wait, like that was actually a mistake. I didn't realize I was small blind. Why did I justify it, trying to seem as if it wasn't just a mistake?" And, you know, I gave him his blind back and told him, like, "Hey man, like I actually didn't realize I was a small blind. I don't know why I justified it, saying that I just wanted to play the hand." So I do think it tends to be an automatic reaction. People want to be right. People don't want to be the bad guy. They don't want to be the one that's causing the problem. But the issue with just being stuck there is you're never going to fix it, and you're going to be over and over again just repeating the same mistakes. And this is a hard issue to deal with, but one of the big ways to handle it is just question yourself, and ask for help. Go to somebody else. You know, maybe if that coworker of mine were like, "Hey, like, what do you think?" Maybe I would have been open to be like, "Hey, like, maybe, you know, it's happened so many times. Have you ever considered something you've done?" In a moment, I didn't feel comfortable because he in no place he seemed like he was open to talk about it. He just seemed like he wanted to complain. And same with the player. Like, if he gets those hands and be like, "Hey, you know, would you ever consider this guy is trying to squeeze here?" And I'd be like, "No." 100% no. Like, oh wow, maybe then what is the issue? And yeah, so that's about this video. Just want to wrap it up here. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next Sunday at 11 a.m. Again, any questions, I'm always open. If you have any doubts, leave a message in the comments, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.